18.7 million voters who are expected to cast their ballots. Your task is to perform two simple but extremely important duties. One, choose a parliamentary candidate to represent your constituency in the 9th Parliament. Secondly, you will be choosing the next president whose responsibility is to provide for your present, to facilitate your future. From what I gathered in my interactions with you as I went around the country, I can sum up the priorities of the majority of you in 3 categories: education, skills, and jobs. Once you have an education and you acquire employable skills, what is left is to thrive in an economic environment which can generate a large and expansive pool of good jobs with good pay, whether as an entrepreneur, self-employed, or employee. In my conversation with you today, I will touch on all 3 and the business-friendly environment that my government, inshallah, will generate to make it all possible. I will outline the bold economic solutions that we plan to roll out, which will make it possible to create millions of jobs if I am given the mandate on December 7th, 2024. I have chosen this occasion to have a conversation with you, the young people of Ghana, mainly to remind you of the commitment I made to you exactly a year ago to make you my #1 priority. My commitment is to transform Ghana, to build on the economic recovery we are witnessing by introducing bold, business-friendly policy initiatives from January 2025, which are designed to stimulate significant economic activity. I am confident that these initiatives will create the large pool of diverse jobs that the young people of Ghana desire and deserve. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a little indication about my faith in what is possible for us to achieve together, beginning January 2025. The growth of the Ghanaian economy has been revised upwards to 4% for 2024 and higher in 2025. To put it into perspective, the economy grew by a mere 3.4% in 2016, the last year under President John Mahama. In fact, in 2025, Standard & Poor's is more buoyant with their forecast at 5.4%. I am even more optimistic that it is possible to do even more if, with your vote, you elect me as your next president and we implement my comprehensive business-friendly and job creation programs as outlined in the MPP manifesto, some of which I will highlight here. I'm seeing from the online numbers as I speak that more and more of you are watching and listening to me live across the country and beyond. I thank you for your attention. I know many of you will be voting for the first time next month. Indeed, 8 years ago, many of you were too young then and therefore could not vote in 2016. Perhaps too young to remember self-inflicted crisis and homegrown hardships that my opponent put the nation through at a time when the whole global economy was rather stable and growing. You may not remember much that Ghanaians endured unforgiving doomsday for well over 4 years. If we were lucky, the lights would come on some part of the day and off for a whole 24 hours the next day, and so on. Barbers and hairdressers worked to earn just enough, if they were lucky, to pay for diesel for the small generator they had borrowed. The situation led to severe low productivity across board. Factories could not stay open for months, let alone 24 hours. And several Ghanaians lost their jobs as a result of the bad leadership choices of my opponent. The banks were bleeding. Some senior high schools had to shut down because the government refused to pay their feeding grant for 2 years. In 2016, just a few years after we became an oil-producing country, Ghana's economy, to the shock of the world, suffered its lowest growth rate for more than a generation. The situation was so bad for young people that a new group was formed with impressive membership nationwide. The name of that group was Unemployed Graduates Association. Coincidentally, the president then is the same man who is my opponent, or who would be my opponent on Saturday, December 7th. I know some of you may not be too eager to vote. I do not blame you if you have bought into the view that all politicians are the same and that your vote won't make any difference. But that is not so. I can tell you that your vote can make a big difference. I will tell you why we are all not the same and cannot be the same. I am not John Mahama. He is a former president and a former vice president and president. I am a vice president who has never been president before, who is asking you for the opportunity to lead and show what I can do if offered the opportunity this December. You can trust me to protect the public purse and use it selflessly to serve you. To the young voters of Ghana, I will say to you, do not switch off. I ask you to get involved. December is about you. December is about who can deliver for you, for your future, whom you trust, who has the integrity, the vision, the energy, the competence, the sense of where the world is today and your place in it, who has the humility to serve you and the decency not to insult you. I shall plead with you to make an informed choice. It is a choice between the one who had his chance and blew it and the other who is asking for a similar chance but to deliver with it, which is me. The decision is yours to make, not to bring back what was discarded in the past, but to vote for your future. If your priority is, as I suspect, about how to build strongly on the economic recovery that is before us, then I will plead with you to vote for me because of the vision and solutions that I have for you and the country and the leadership discipline and determination that I possess to see them through. My own core values, God-fearing, tolerance, integrity, honesty, discipline, hard work, and inclusivity. My can-do attitude, my rejection of the tag of impossibility, my passion to unleash the creative energies of the youth, my compassion for the poor and vulnerable. All these align perfectly with the hopes and dreams of the young people of our country, rich or poor, north or south, educated or not, skilled or not, rural or urban. That is why I'm asking you to vote on December 7, 2024. Place your trust in me, and I shall not disappoint you. As Vice President since 2017, I have not had the luxury to write my autobiography. So please make do with this short bio. I was born in Tamale on October 7th, 1963, to Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia and Haji Mariama Bawumia. I attended Sakasaka Primary School in Tamale, Tamale Secondary School, Buckingham University in the UK for my first degree, Oxford University for my master's, and Simon Fraser in Canada for my PhD. I know what it's like to be unemployed. I have been a farm laborer before. I have been a taxi driver before. I have been a cleaner before. I've been a teacher, a technocrat, a banker, a running mate, a vice president, a father, and a husband. As a technocrat, I worked at the Bank of Ghana, rising to become deputy governor before entering into politics as Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's running mate in 2008. As vice president during the period that the world faced its worst global health pandemic in modern history and the worst cost of living crisis since the Great Depression of 1933, I believe I have gone inside the oven and come out baked and ready to take over and to solve. I know firsthand the untold hardships we have had to endure as Ghanaians, and I know what to do and what not to do in order to protect the gains we are making and to go on to build with urgency on them. I opted for politics because I knew and even believe now more than ever that politics is a powerful tool for a greater good, but only if in the hands of a leader who means well, knows how, and has what it takes to make a difference. I know I have the character, the experience, the vision, and the policies to address the concerns of the young people, and it is for this reason that I've asked to have this conversation with you today. Over this year alone, through my Youth Connect and other fora across the country, I have engaged with you, the youth, and listened to your fears, concerns, and aspirations. And I have been inspired by the ingenuity and can-do spirit of the Ghanaian youth. When I say to you today that your concerns and aspirations are my top priority items, I mean it from every sinew of my body. Indeed, I have been consistent right from the onset in making the destiny of the youth of Ghana my utmost priority. As I said in my acceptance speech as presidential candidate a year ago, and I quote, "I have my own vision and my own priorities. Given the opportunity by you, the people of Ghana, to lead, I shall govern as my own man with guidance from God Almighty. My vision is to build an inclusive, food self-sufficient, job-generating, data-driven and systems-based nation that will fully participate in the global digital revolution to solve our problems, and also usher in a golden age of benefits from our natural resources. I want to lead a nation that improves and unleashes the talents of our youth and offers good jobs with good pay and sustainable growth with macroeconomic discipline. As presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, this is my commitment to the youth of Ghana. The talent of our youth in various sectors, such as information technology, robotics, entrepreneurship, creative arts, sports, and so on, is just amazing. When we bring the talents of the youth together, we will surely build a mighty nation. Together we can transform this nation and do even more in many areas. I therefore invite the youth, particularly the Gen Zs, to join me in this journey of great possibilities. I have a place for you. Ladies and gentlemen, true to my quest for inclusivity, I want to ensure that the specific needs of young people are sufficiently addressed by my government, if given the mandate, because I see that as vital if we are serious about making a difference in the long term. If you elect me as your next president, I promise to involve you, the young people of Ghana, in the formal political processes. Your voices to be heard and your ideas drafted into formulating policies of government. My goal is to lead a government that makes our young people a positive force for the change that they themselves seek and our nation desires, which I know is necessary for the peace and integrity of our democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, our job creation plans. The government, recognizing and understanding that there are conditions that create sustainable and decent jobs, has implemented numerous policies to this effect. And in the first case, when we came in, we were clear in our view that we should create and expand educational opportunities for everybody. The free SHS policy, with about 5.7 million beneficiaries, is one of the critical policies to lay the foundation for decent and sustainable jobs in the future. Expansion of second cycle education with the free SHS policy enhances the skills of all beneficiaries who some hitherto might have fallen off the educational ladder due to financial challenges. Technical and vocational educational training, TVET, has not been left out. There is a need to train Ghana's labor force with the right skills needed to drive industrialization. And this is why we have made TVET free, just like senior high school. The Akufo-Addo-led administration in the last 8 years has undertaken massive investment in TVET. In fact, I believe that this is the largest investment in TVET by any government since independence, including science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. The vision is to prepare the country's emerging labor force with the right training, skills, and education for the fourth industrial revolution. More so, This is also to address the mismatch between skills of the labor force and the demands of industry. My government will build on this by expanding educational opportunities for all. My government will, among other things, increase the stock of student accommodation in our universities and other public tertiary institutions to address the housing deficit on our campuses and make them affordable. We will introduce free tertiary education scholarship for persons with disabilities to remove financial barriers to pursuing their educational goals. We will also set a quota for the recruitment of persons with disabilities in all government recruitment and also provide incentives to the private sector to recruit persons with disabilities. We will expand the eligibility for the student loan scheme to include all post-secondary students, including certificate and diploma programs, and prioritize and direct a significant proportion of national scholarship schemes towards training and skills development. We'll protect and enhance the free SHS and free TVET, which is truly transforming lives and changing the life outcomes for millions of people. We'll continue to develop additional infrastructure for our educational institutions to meet the increased numbers that are resulting from the free senior high school policies. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a conducive economic environment is a prerequisite for decent and sustainable job creation. With our philosophy of economic liberalism, we believe it is our responsibility to create an enabling environment for the private sector, which we believe is our engine of growth to flourish. Among other things, a stable macroeconomic environment is paramount. My government will reduce the fiscal burden on government by leveraging the private sector. Under the two-term administration of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we have put in place many social safety nets, like free SHS, free TVET, and so on. With all these social safety nets in place, my government will now focus on jobs and wealth creation by the private sector for all Ghanaians. My administration will incentivize the private sector to complement government in the provision of many infrastructure and other services to reduce government expenditure and improve maintenance. We are going to do something that has not really been done in Ghana before. We are going to move to engage the private sector to build roads, schools, hostels, houses for government, and to rent or lease to own. The demand for roads construction is massive, and this has historically placed a huge burden on the budget. I believe that the private sector should finance the construction and maintenance of roads through PPP concession arrangements. Also, government will move towards leasing rather than purchasing vehicles, printing equipment, and so on. The private sector will have the responsibility for maintaining the equipment. With this approach, the budget can save very significant outright cash expenditure annually from various items across ministries, departments, and agencies. So with this solution, and this is why I'm saying we haven't done this before, if you need to buy 700 buses for schools, there's no point in government trying to fork out all the money to go and buy 700 buses. We will say to the private sector, government needs 700 buses for our schools. Their private sector will then lease government 700 buses, and then we will pay over time. We don't have to expend all the cash at once. So every school will get a bus. We need hostels or dormitories. We don't have to build them. The private sector can build them, and we will pay the rent over time. So they will save a lot of money. You need to buy, vehicles for government officials. You don't need to look for cash to pay for all of them. You ask for a lease and do so. Roads and so on. So this is the thinking behind this policy. And I am going to the move to include the private sector in the provision of many services will therefore create fiscal space. And we are proposing in the first 4 years, we're going to move immediately 3% of GDP of government expenditure to the private sector. 3% of GDP comes up to about 30 billion Ghana cedis. And we are moving that to the private sector. This is jobs. This is jobs for the people. The private sector has an incentive because the private sector knows the government is going to rent this building. If I build it, they will build it quickly and they will rent it and we will pay. So you will not have many uncompleted projects around the country because the private sector has an interest in completing all of these projects, whether it's hospitals, whether it's schools, whether it's roads, because they know they will be paid and their banks know they will be paid, and the pressure on government will be much less. This represents a major paradigm shift, and this is why I say it has not been done before. We are going to do something very new structurally in our budget. We are also going to make sure that we continue the infrastructure program that we are engaged in many projects. We will complete all the Agenda 111 hospitals. Some will be completed this year. Most will be completed next year. But the good thing is that we will be able to recruit about 70,000 to 72,000 health personnel in the Agenda 111 hospitals. We have focused a lot on roads, and we have not yet finished, but we focused a lot on roads in our last 8 years. You've seen that we've done probably 3 to 4 times more roads than the previous government has done. We focused a lot on roads, but my focus, in addition to roads, by the grace of God, when I am president, I want to focus on railway. Railways are going to be very transformational for this country. We have to link our resources with the ports and other areas. So I'm going to focus on 2 major rail lines, the Eastern Line going to the north and the Western Line through Kumasi, Obuasi, and all of those areas to West Takoradi. So we are going to focus on the rail, and not just focus on the rail. I was having a discussion with the dean of the railway school at UMAT in Takoradi the other day, and I said to him, why do we have to import so much to do rail? Because Ghana had been seeing railways since the 1920s. And I want to challenge you that all the key materials, the blocks, that you use, the steel and all of that, let's manufacture all of them in Ghana. Let's manufacture all the materials here in Ghana. Let's not import them. Now, if you are going to do that, you are going to create jobs, and as you lay these rail lines across, we will do it. So let us master the technology. We can do it. And he agreed with me that it was possible, and we are going. So I'm going to insist that we make all these blocks. I mean, we're even importing concrete blocks from abroad for our rail. Concrete blocks, so we have to stop that. We are going to use local materials, which we have the resources to make the steel for the rail lines and create the jobs for our people. So I'm going to focus, because for this country to transform, we need rail. We need rail to explore our bauxite deposits, our iron and steel deposits and all of that. So I'm going to focus in my presidency in making sure these two lines, the eastern and the western, come into being for Ghana to prosper and for us to create jobs. You will also see that in addition to this, government is commissioned the petroleum hub in Jomoro. The Izima area, and this is a major project. It's a $60 billion project, and the portal has been opened, and we are going to be able to see all the estimates come up with around 780,000 jobs for the petroleum hub. 780,000. The petroleum hub, as at now, has opened the portal for recruitment and for training already, even before the actual work starts on the ground. So they've opened the portal for the recruitment, but this is going to be a major transformational policy, the petroleum hub, which will come, we are going to support. As president, I'm going to move very, very hard for it to come into being. But we are looking at 780,000 jobs with the petroleum hub as we speak. So we have also infrastructure coming up. We've just signed an agreement for a concessional loan with South Korea. The president reached that agreement. It will mature by the grace of God and begin when I am president. $2 billion of infrastructure, and we are going to be building many pieces of infrastructure across the country. We've put together the list of projects that we are going to construct with this, and it's going to create a lot of jobs with this $2 billion investment. Ladies and gentlemen, as stated in our manifesto, my government has far-reaching policies and programs that will drive and create the needed employment opportunities. We will support the growth of businesses by the following policies, because we are a private sector. This is going to be a private sector government in a sense, because we are going to lift up businesses in the country and make them grow and prosper. The policies that we are going to implement include the following. We will implement a policy that is also new. We are going to use government's purchasing power to stimulate industrial expansion and business growth, which will help create jobs by rolling out a Buy Ghana First policy. Buy Ghana First policy, under which all goods and services procured by the public sector will first be filled by goods and services produced locally. So the other day I visited the Volta Star Textile Company in GHOne. And when I got to GHOne, they took me around their whole factory. And then it was clear that they were doing all sorts of textiles, school uniforms for all the schools and all of that. But they told me that somehow we were no longer buying from them. These uniforms and materials were now being imported from abroad for the schools. And I thought, no, that is wrong, because that means we are creating unemployment. We need to rethink as a country and be smart in that regard. So I thought very quickly. I said, we will implement a Buy Ghana First policy. And we are going to back it with law. So, if the Ministry of Education is to procure school uniforms, first look into Ghana. We have a lot of factories. We have a lot of tailors. Let's buy it from Ghana first. Then we will create the jobs in Ghana. So we are going to implement the Buy Ghana First policy, and we are going to back it by law, and it should require some amendment of the Public Procurement Act as well. But we are going to do it because it's in the interest of our country. We will also establish an SME bank, a bank for small and medium enterprises, to meet the special financing needs of SMEs, which employ over 80% of Ghanaians. Because SMEs employ over 80% of Ghanaians, we really need to focus on their needs if we are to create jobs. And so we are going to set up an SME bank to do this. We will also incentivize Ghanaian startups in selected strategic sectors with investment tax credits for the first 3 years of their operations. Startups go through a lot of problems, especially in their first 3 years of operation. They don't make money. They are really trying to get on their feet. And so we will give them investment tax credits for the first 3 years to enable them to stand on their feet, to be able to create the jobs that we want them to do. I'm also going to implement a shift in electricity tariffs structure to a regime in which commercial rates are either equal to or lower than residential rates, never higher. So, businesses complain a lot that, they pay more than the residential consumers, and that should not be the case. Businesses, by nature, as you see globally, should normally be paying less per kilowatt hour than the residential rate. So I'm going to make sure we engineer the change in that structure. Furthermore, I'm going to reduce the cost of power to businesses and households by bringing on board 2,000 megawatts of solar power and incentivizing users. Ghana needs to move towards solar power. We are too dependent on oil and gas. We need to get solar power. God has given us the sun for free. We have the technology to harness the solar power. We have started, and we can bring in initially at least 2,000 megawatts. And I believe that these move towards solar power can enable us reduce the cost of power by 50% to households and industry. But 2,000 megawatts of solar power will require a lot of solar panels in the context of solar farms to generate that electricity. Because of the quantum of solar panels that we are going to require, I'm not going to encourage the importation of solar panels. I'm going to insist that we set up the factory here in Ghana to manufacture the solar panels right here so that we can master the technology, reduce the cost, and also be able to export to other countries. So we are going to push to bring the technology to Ghana. I'm also going to create special economic zones, which will be in collaboration with the private sector at our major border towns like Aflao, Paga, Elubo, Sankasi, and so on, to enhance economic activity and increase our exports as well as reduce smuggling. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to my proposals for tax reform. To support the private sector to create jobs, I will introduce a tax regime that is easy to understand, easy to comply with, and easy to enforce, and that is not subject to so much discretion. A year ago, I asked my team to do some research on the countries in the world with the most competitive tax system for businesses and for job creation. They looked at the research, came back and said that the most competitive country in the world as far as tax system is concerned was Estonia. So I took a team and we traveled to Estonia. We met with their prime minister, their president, their tax authorities, and we understood their system. They operate a very simple tax system, and that is a flat tax system. And so, having looked at all the different systems, I believe that a flat tax system is very, very good for Ghana. And so my government will implement a very simple, citizen and business-friendly flat tax system. A flat tax of a percentage of income for individuals and businesses with appropriate exemption threshold set to protect the poor. With the new tax regime, your tax return will be very easy to complete. We will also simplify our complicated corporate tax system and the VAT regime. Tax digitalization will be implemented across all aspects of tax administration, and everyone will be required to file a very simple tax return electronically through their mobile phone or computer. Under this new regime, there will be no need, for example, for the GRA to send officers to go and sit in shops. E-invoicing, as being implemented by the GRA, will be extended to all companies. We will also introduce a flat import duty regime for all importers, bringing predictability and stability to prices of imported goods. Furthermore, we will harmonize port charges to align with charges in competing regional ports, particularly Togo. Our duties at our ports cannot be higher than the duties in Togo. So we will be the same or we will be lower. Ladies and gentlemen, to start the new tax system on a clean slate, my government will provide a tax amnesty. That is a complete exemption from the payment of taxes for a specified period and the waiving of interest and penalties up to a certain year to individuals and businesses for failures to file taxes in previous years, so that everyone will start afresh. So a tax amnesty is coming for our businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, I want a Ghana where we can sustain food security and create jobs through the application of technology and irrigation to commercial large-scale farming. I will prioritize irrigation. For that matter, the Pualugu Dam, I will prioritize its construction by using private sector financing to crowd in grant financing. We'll also work with the private sector to create agricultural enclaves in each region based on its comparative advantage, with processing facilities in the food processing facilities in the enclaves. We'll invest in research and development of digital and AI technologies aimed at improving production, reducing post-harvest losses, and packaging agricultural produce for freshness, longer shelf life, as well as farming under arid conditions as well. We will also redirect the Agri Development Bank to expand its financing and guarantee lines through the SME Bank to support entities engaged in manufacturing of value-added agricultural products which are consumed in large quantities. I will also establish district agric mechanization centers in all farming districts in collaboration with the private sector. Just as we have done for the road sector and given every district, equipment for road construction, we are also going to give every district equipment for farmers in that district who will need those equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, under a housing for all policy, I will also have a major focus on the provision of public housing in the same manner that Singapore did. We will partner with the private sector to build large housing estates without the government having to borrow or spend. The housing market holds the key to millions of jobs. Architects, masons, electricians, plumbers, roofers, and so on. Unfortunately, however, our housing market is very, very feeble and relatively undeveloped. The mortgage market in the United States, for example, is some 12.5 trillion US dollars. That in the UK is about 250 billion US dollars. But in Ghana, our mortgage market is about 250 million US dollars. My government will unleash the job potentials of our housing market by completing the ongoing digitalization at the Lands Commission. Title to land should be easy to establish online without reliance on land guards. Chiefs who hold stool land will be allowed to register stool lands without initially paying a fee. Many of them are not able to register their large tracts of land because there are fees associated with the registration. And so they don't do so, and then you have a lot of land disputes coming up. We are going to allow all the chiefs to register all their lands free initially. When they sell, then we can get our fee at the time they sell. With this, once we digitalize the land registry and title, banks and other lenders will be able to establish title to different properties easily and provide mortgage lending accordingly. Furthermore, my government will ensure that a variety of accommodation types are available to meet different pockets and needs, such as social housing and affordable housing. Ladies and gentlemen, as president, my government will usher Ghana into a golden age for the maximization of the benefits from our natural resources like gold, lithium, bauxite, and so on, to create more jobs. The key to doing this is value addition and Ghanaian participation. We need a new paradigm in natural resource contracts. Some of the key policies we will implement to maximize our benefits from our natural resources will include formalizing, regularizing, and regulating environmentally sustainable small-scale mining. Our goal would be to help grow small-scale mining companies into large-scale companies with capacity building and assisting them to access financing to acquire equipment. In line with this, we will license all miners doing responsible mining. District mining committees, including chiefs, will provide the initial temporary licenses. Every Ghanaian in small-scale mining will register under the Ghana Small-Scale Miners Association with their Ghana card. And we will, in collaboration with the large mining companies, convert abandoned shafts into community mining schemes. We will also open more new community mining schemes, and district mining committees should be responsible for reclamation and replanting. We will set up state-of-the-art common user gold processing units in mining districts in collaboration with the private sector, and will provide traditional authorities something new, which is an equity share in all mining concessions under their jurisdictions. My government will also conduct an audit of all concessions with various licenses and new applications. This will allow government to know licenses that have expired and non-compliance with licensing conditions. We will also establish, in collaboration with the private sector, a minerals development bank to support the mining industry. We will reduce the minerals export tax to 1% to discourage smuggling. And we will establish, through the private sector, a London Bullion Market Association, LBMA certified gold refinery within my first 4 years. We're also going to make available. One of the problems we have, as I have noted before with Galamsey, is that many people who try to mine have no idea whether there is gold there or not. They do trial and error. but we are going to ask the Geological Survey Authority to provide data on our reserves to small-scale miners so that we know when we say here there is gold, and this is how you should mine it responsibly without destroying the environment. We'll scale up the use of mercury-free gold catcher machine technology, which is less damaging to our environment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, many people, I now come to the digital economy. Many people, including my opponent, do not understand the link between digitalization and the economy. Today, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. The world economy, the global economy, is moving into a digital economy. So if you don't digitalize, you are going to be left behind. There's not going to be much of an economy for you. And this is so simple, and I just sometimes don't believe that it is not understood. Recently, I think this was last week, I launched the GHOne app for our local taxi drivers who were being taken out of business by Uber and Yango and Bolt and so on, because they did not have the ability to also digitalize their operations. So we have helped the local taxi drivers to create a domestic app, which is GHOne. And you know, once we said we were going to do that, people said, but what has this got to do with the economy? You're creating an app. But you don't understand, because Uber, one app, is worth $163 billion. That company, Uber. Ghana, the whole Ghana economy is 75 billion. One app from Uber is 163 billion. Ghana's total economy is 75 billion. So Uber is more than twice Ghana's economy. So it's very important. Today's world, Apple, the company that makes apps that we are all using on our iPhones, is worth $3.5 trillion. $3.5 trillion. That is 46 times the economy of Ghana. One company. Microsoft is 40 times the economy of Ghana. So if you don't understand that digitalization is the future, then you'll be stuck in the past. Then the rest of the world will go and leave you. I believe that Ghana needs a leader that can think about the future, and that doesn't want to get stuck in the past. And so when we came into government, we started putting all the pillars that will be necessary for our digital economy in place. And people didn't understand that. We've done the Ghana card, done the digital address, we've done mobile money interoperability, and so on. And we are one of the fastest digitalizing countries in Africa right now. I want to build a Ghana where we leverage technology, data, and systems for inclusive economic growth. Because if you don't have technology, data, and systems, then the poor are left out of the system. You have to know somebody. But when you have systems, you can pick up your mobile phone and renew your national health insurance without knowing anybody. You don't need to pay any bribe. You can apply for anything and receive it just on your mobile phone. You don't need to pay any bribe. So when I talk about inclusion, this is what I'm talking about. Protecting the poor who don't know anybody. I want us to apply digital technology for STEM, robotics, and artificial intelligence for the transformation of agriculture. Agriculture is an area where it's all technology. If we continue the way we are doing, without science and technology being brought to bear on agriculture, our yields will not really go up as we require. As part of this process, It is my goal to eliminate the digital divide. If you are going to digitalize, then your whole country must be digital. So we want to achieve close to 100% internet penetration in Ghana. We have already made significant progress in this direction by increasing internet penetration. When we came in to office, internet penetration was 34%, right? And then now we have increased it to 70% as of 2023. And so most advanced countries are above just 90%. So we are going to get there, and I want us to get close to 100% very soon. So the task in the next 4 years is to move from some 72% to over 90% as exists in advanced countries. And I want to make sure that everyone has access to the internet at affordable prices. It is possible. I want to see Ghana build the digital talent we require for the fourth industrial revolution. You need digital talent. This will mean providing digital and software skills to hundreds and thousands of youth. This, along with other policies, will create jobs for the youth, including school dropouts. In collaboration with the private sector, we will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills, including software developers, coders, to provide job opportunities worldwide. So with your digital skills, you are able to sit down in Asankragwa or in Funsi or in Sefiyu also, and you'll be working in America, in Canada, in the UK, right from here in Ghana. Generally, there will be an enhanced focus on TVET education. My government will also support the establishment of a national Open University Ghana in collaboration with the private sector with a focus on ICT, TVET, and STEM. To prepare our children for the fourth industrial revolution workplace, I will enhance the positioning of the education system towards STEM, robotics, artificial intelligence, and vocational schools to cope with the demands of the fourth industrial revolution and job creation. My government would make coding and robotics standard in senior high school. Furthermore, to become a digital hub in Africa, Ghana's telecoms industry needs more investment. The cost of data for the ordinary Ghanaian has become too expensive. Even though we are among some of the least in terms of prices in Africa, I still believe it is too expensive. It goes against the very ethos of our digitalization journey, and I commit to working with industry players in setting clear policy guidelines that will remove any investor uncertainty and difficulties in business planning, including the expeditious allocation of spectrum driven more by the goal of enhancing digital inclusion and less by revenue considerations. We will work with educational institutions and leading Ghanaian and global tech firms to establish a national robotics, engineering, and AI lab for research and training of young Ghanaians locally, and will provide venture capital as well as grant funding to commercially viable tech projects by Ghanaian startups to drive innovation and foster high-tech entrepreneurship, create jobs, and support the growth of Ghanaian high-tech business. We'll also establish, and this we have already gotten commitment from the central bank, we will establish a fintech fund with a seed capital of $100 million to attract additional private sector funding to support Ghanaian startups, developing payments and financial services solutions, especially focused on region-wide and exportable solutions. One of the things that we have insisted on right from the beginning, and what we are going to continue to do, is to make sure that our tech development is driven by local Ghanaian companies. That is what we have done. If you look at our tech development, whether it's the Ghana card, whether it's the digital address, whether it's the mobile money interoperability, Ghana.gov, e-pharmacy, and so on, we have driven our tech development by local companies, and recently GHOne and so on. And that helps our job creation locally rather than bringing it from outside. So we are going to continue to do this. I will also be abolishing, eliminating import duties on mobile phones until manufacturing capacity is established in Ghana, so that we can put smartphones and other phones in the hands of the Ghanaian public at affordable rates. On this digital journey, I will also abolish the e-levy, as we have already stated before. Ladies and gentlemen, I now come to a very important topic in terms of what we can do for job creation. Ladies and gentlemen, in advanced economies, workers are able to easily access credit to purchase basic items such as televisions, cars, mobile phones, and houses. They are able to do so because the credit system works, and it is supported by individualized credit scoring by credit rating agencies. In the advanced countries, people are able to obtain mobile phones for free under contract arrangements with phone companies, for example, based on their credit scores. But for people with impossibility mindsets, they don't understand these things. In Ghana, such a credit system is yet to take root broadly. And therefore, life is harder for workers. It is my goal to make it easier and cheaper to access credit by leveraging on our data and systems, such as the Ghana card, Ghana Post GPS, mobile money interoperability, the DVLA, GRA, bank accounts, and so on, to build an efficient credit system and mortgage market in Ghana, underpinned by individualized credit scoring and digitalization and land titling transfer. It is very, very important, because without individualized credit scoring, which is broad-based, banks don't have enough information to lend to people. And so banks rather will lend to government and not lend to people. But if you have individualized credit scoring, people can buy things. If you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a taxi driver, you're a mechanic, you're someone who vends, a street hawker, even a kaya, as long as you can show income coming in through your Momo accounts and so on, you can have a credit score, and the bank can give you credit, and you pay small over time. With a credit scoring system, you don't need to know somebody to get your credit. We will be moving into digital lending. Digital lending. You sit on your mobile phone and receive a credit to say, this is your loan, go and spend it. That is, you don't know anybody, but you have a credit score, and you'll be given the loan based on your credit score. And so we are going to move into a new era that exists in the advanced countries. So you don't need to know somebody to get a loan from Maslow or this or that or that. No. The credit score then becomes your guarantor and the key to open the door to access credit. We're going to move Ghana into a new era. We started, putting things in place when we came into office. In the advanced countries, the individualized credit scoring is based on 3 critical pillars. Number 1, everybody has an ID card or an ID number. Otherwise, you won't get credit. Number 2, everybody has a house address. If I give you a TV to pay on credit and you don't pay, I'll come to your house and pick it up. right? So everybody has a house address. And number 3, everybody has a bank account. So when we came into office, looking ahead, we decided to put these things in place. We've done the Ghana card, so everybody has an ID. We've done the digital address system, everybody has a digital address. And we've done mobile money interoperability, which means practically everybody has a bank account in Ghana. In fact, let me give you one statistic. Ghana is the only country in Africa that has 100% access to financial inclusion. The only country in the whole of Africa. 100% access. If you don't have because in Ghana, our Momo accounts work like bank accounts. They are interoperable with bank accounts. That is the big difference. And so, if you don't have a mobile account, it's because you don't want one. But if you want one now, right sitting here, you'll be able to open one. It's that simple. And so, we have elevated our financial inclusion. We are the country with 100% access to financial inclusion. So, when we came into office, we put in these 3 pieces. Ghana card, digital address, mobile money, interoperability. And this is now the foundation for credit scoring. So when we were talking digital, people could not relate it to the economy. They couldn't see what I was seeing. They said, why is this man focused on digital? It's not the economy. But the digital is going to give you money. Right? So we've now put all these things in place. And I thought that we will be able to start the credit scoring system next year. But by the grace of God, we are going to start it this year before the end of this year. It is going to make life much easier for Ghanaians as we build our credit and then be able to access loans just like they do abroad. I'm told that the country in the whole of Africa that has an effective credit scoring system is South Africa. We also have systems in Mauritius, in Kenya, in Egypt, and so on, but they are not apparently as effective. But be that as it may, we will be joining the list few countries in Africa with individualized credit scoring systems. And I will launch Ghana's credit scoring system on November the 7th. So just in a few days' time, Ghana will join what we were thinking only exists overseas. But this will change the game. This will change the game for Ghanaians and for the youth, because a lot of people just want a loan to start a business. You could get a loan, and this is why it's a very, very good policy. We are going to boost sports, the creative arts, and tourism through our e-visa policies to bring in visitors. Very easy to obtain visas. A visa-free policy for African and Caribbean nationals. We're talking about working and bringing streaming services, streaming apps for digital content. We've already started with the music app, which the private sector is putting together. We want to establish a sports development fund to really help sports development in this country and to upgrade our pitches to meet international standards, also to continue with the AstroTurf construction across all the country. We have done more sports facilities than any government in this country. When we came into office, Ghana had only 3 AstroTurfs, the whole country. Today we have over 150 AstroTurfs and counting. I'm going to make sure, because for the issue of governance is very important in job creation. We're going to work on a digital framework and for automation of government services. I want transparency in government. And so I want the whole of the public sector to go on a digital platform so that you will have complete transparency. And not only do we have a digital platform, it's going to be a platform which is blockchain backed. Blockchain bank means you have complete traceability of all actions that government is taking. You cannot take a decision and hide. It is available for everybody to see, and that is how we tackle corruption. So we're going to bring in blockchain, we'll put government on a digital platform and make sure that we are able to do this. One of the most potent weapons against corruption is transparency. And you see that a lot of corrupt activity is cash-based. And I want us to really move more in the area of electronic payments to be used in transactions as opposed to cash. So I would like to bring Ghana close to a cashless economy in the shortest possible time. The Bank of Ghana has made a lot of progress in this direction by putting in place a lot of systems and infrastructure that is required. And these include the mobile money interoperability, merchant interoperability, universal QR code, ESWH, Ghana Pay, and so on. So we have the necessary infrastructure. And recently the bank has piloted the ECD, which is a major transformation. And I believe that by next year, the central bank, I believe, will launch the ECD. And this will really be, from my point of view, one of our ultimate weapons in our fight against corruption, because it will provide transparency, reduce the risk of fraud, robbery, tax avoidance, and the movement of money, and identify suspicious activity so that we can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we must collectively have a mindset of possibilities and not impossibilities. The challenges we must overcome as a country are too important to let our political differences derail us. There is a critical failure of mindset that manifests itself in the absence of core values, patriotism, and principles within our society. We need to invigorate the can-do spirit of the Ghanaian to believe that we can even do better than we have ever imagined. And we can be world beaters if we put our mind to it. We can be proud of some of our accomplishments to date. Ladies and gentlemen, many may not know, but even in our current circumstances today, Ghana has the second highest education quality in Africa. The second highest education quality in Africa. Tunisia is number 1. Ghana is number 2 out of 54 African countries. Secondly, Ghana has the 7th lowest multi-dimensional poverty rate in Africa. The 7th lowest out of 54 countries. Multi-dimensional poverty. Ghana has the 7th lowest. Thirdly, Ghana is on the list of countries with zero hunger. Zero hunger. Fourthly, Ghana is second on the list of countries with decent work and economic growth in Africa. Second, out of 54. Fifthly, Ghana is the only country in Africa with 100% access to financial inclusion by its population. Ghana has the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. 7, Ghana has the 3rd highest food security in Africa. After South Africa and Kenya, Ghana has the 3rd highest food security in Africa. 8, Ghana is ranked 3rd in Africa in terms of affordable internet rates. Even though for me, I still think it's too high. But the ranking gives us 3rd. 9, Ghana has the largest medical drone delivery service in the whole world. The whole world. Ghana has the largest medical drone delivery in the whole world. 10, the Mo Ibrahim Index indicates that Ghana is the 7th best governed country in Africa. The 7th best governed country in Africa. 11, Ghana is on the list of 10 countries in Africa with the lowest petroleum prices. 10 countries, the lowest 10 out of the 54, Ghana is on that list. Number 12, Prempeh College and Mamfi Methodist Girls Senior High Schools have won world robotic competitions. World robotic competitions. So it is possible. It is, I'm just mentioning these to let us know that we should be confident about the future. It is possible to be world beaters. We can do things much better than the rest of the world, not just African countries. Let us think big. Let us think about possibilities. It is possible for us to be the best in the world. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that as Vice President, the policies I have championed or initiated have impacted or will impact the lives of virtually every Ghanaian. These include the Ghana card, the digital address system, mobile money interoperability, Agenda 111, e-pharmacy, Ghana.gov, one constituency, one ambulance, Zongo Development Fund, paperless ports, motor insurance database, renewal of NHIS membership on the mobile phone, the Ghana card number as your TIN, SNIT, and NHIS number, zip line drone deliveries, gold for oil, gold purchase program, and so on. I have 33 such policies to my credit as Vice President. As Vice President, I have 33 such policies to my credit. Through the successful implementation of these policies, I have proven to be a problem solver and a promise keeper. I challenge anyone to mention just one policy my opponent championed or initiated or implemented as Vice President. Just one. Just one. Just one. I have never been President of Ghana before. I am presenting myself to you for the first time to ask for your precious vote to serve you as your president and to continue the development agenda of the MPP. And in all humility, I would like you to give me the opportunity to become one of the most impactful presidents in Ghana's history. In me, you will have a brand new tear rubber president, not a second-hand failed president. My opponent, the former president, to put it mildly, is very inconsistent. He opposed pre-senior high school, saying it was bogus and will collapse the economy. But today he says he introduced it. He, as president, introduced the teacher licensure exams, but today he says he opposes it. He abolished teacher and nursing training allowances. He said he would abolish it even if it cost him the presidency. But today he says he will continue to pay them. He is not committed to it. It's just for political expedience. He has touted in the past infrastructure as one of his achievements. But because our infrastructure record is superior to his, today he says that infrastructure doesn't matter for the economy, that the economy is different from infrastructure. How can that be? I mean, really, for someone who has been president of Ghana to say the infrastructure doesn't have anything to do with the economy, then I understand why the economy collapsed under his watch. Today he says there is no link between digitalization and the economy. Right? How can that be in this fourth industrial revolution? How can we have a leader who doesn't appreciate the value of digitalization in a digital global economy? He should not be allowed close to the presidency with that mindset. He should not be allowed close to the presidency with that mindset. A leader who doesn't understand digitalization in today's world wants to be president of a country like ours, trying to move forward into the future? No. Ladies and gentlemen, his signature economic policy, the 24-hour economy, has defied explanation and understanding. It's basically a case of one day, one explanation, including the rearing of lions and elephants. The latest explanation that I have heard from them is that for one job, you will have 3 shifts and 3 workers. So if you have a school, one teacher will come in the morning, another will come in the evening, and another will come at midnight, including kindergarten teachers. He also says it is voluntary and will be implemented gradually. Ewurade Nyankopɔn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am determined to make a difference, a positive difference. I will work for you and with you, with honesty and integrity, with wisdom and decisiveness. I have clarity in my mind as to what I want to do from day one if you make me president. I will not ask for a honeymoon to cool off and think about what to do with the responsibility you would give me. I am prepared and ready to work if you give me the opportunity. You know what I stand for. You know my vision. I believe in the ingenuity of the Ghanaian. Together we can succeed in building a progressive society of possibilities, enterprise, compassion, open opportunities, and shared responsibility of every Ghanaian, born rich or poor, born in the north or south, born Christian or Muslim, born boy or girl. To the youth of our country, let me repeat my appeal to you. Our nation is at a crossroads. We are preparing to elect a new president on the 7th of December 2024, and I believe I would serve our nation better as your next president. I am a problem-solving leader. In the last 7 years, I have, with the blessings of President Akufo-Addo, led initiatives to address some of the fundamental problems with public service delivery. I possess the integrity you require in your next president. I believe the Almighty has blessed me with the fortitude of character to ensure the implementation of bold solutions for the future. My track record of public service and international development is public knowledge. My entire career, from an academic through the Bank of Ghana, the African Development Bank, and to the current role of Vice President, has been anchored on competence, diligence, and effective management skills that have contributed to my ability to see projects through to completion. My proven capability to manage and deliver results professionally and transparently sets me apart from the rest in the race. As an experienced professional with unblemished national and international credentials, I am ready to bring that expertise to bear on national governance with the sole motivation to transform this country. Given these and my verifiable personal integrity, I am convinced, ladies and gentlemen, that you will hand the steer to me to usher in a new management style that will give us more results, a paradigm shift in how we manage our resources, and let the benefits of nationhood reach out to every member of society. With humility, I declare that I am a visionary leader who can generate new ideas to confront problems. I have exciting ideas needed for the 21st century. We have done a remarkable job in creating jobs in the last 7 years. Indeed, so far, as yesterday or day before, I checked on the data from SNIT and other sources, and so far, from between 2017 and 2024, the latest data is that we've created 2.6 million jobs. 2.6 million jobs. 1.4 in the private sector and 1.2 in the public sector. This is the highest of any government in the Fourth Republic. The highest job creation. We have more to do because we still have high unemployment. Our youth still need jobs, but we have done quite a bit. Unemployment is still a major issue, but I'm making a firm commitment to sustain and expand the rebounding economy to address the problem of unemployment. With COVID, what I want you to put your minds to as I conclude, if with COVID and the Russia-Ukraine war and all the global depression, the worst since the Great Depression of 1933, if with COVID and all of these global problems, the high increase in the cost of living, depreciation, exchange rate, debt levels going up, all of that hit us. Notwithstanding all of that, we've created 2.6 million jobs. Can you imagine what the next 8 years under my presidency will look like? Just think about it. Just think about what we are doing for businesses. Look at 30 billion we are going to be passing on to the private sector. Look at the 780,000 jobs from the petroleum sector alone. Look at the 1 million digital skills that we are going to train in the youth. Look at the infrastructure, the railways, the 2 billion Korean facility, the health facilities, Agenda 111, the housing. Just think about all of this. If in 8 years, with all the challenges, we were able to do 2.6 million jobs, it shows by just plain logic and reason that we will do much more than 2.6 million in the next 8 years. I expect us to go to at least if we proceed on this trajectory for the next 8 years, we should, with all of these different aspects come in, I am looking at us moving to create 4 million jobs in the next 8 years. We've done 2.6, almost 3 million. So we can do 4 in the next 8 years with the new policies that we are coming with. It is possible. It is possible. It is possible. With your support, prayers and God's guidance, we can win together. It is possible. Thank you for your attention. God bless you and God bless our homeland,
Ladies
Ghana.
and gentlemen, put your hands together for the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The digital man, the man for the future, the man for the youth of this country, the man that has a clear-cut plan and strategy to push this country to the next level. Clear-cut content strategy to push the youth of this country to the next level.
Join us as Dr. Bawumia lays down his agenda for jobs for the youth of our country. Over the past 8 years, the NPP has been committed to creating jobs and transforming lives across Ghana. From infrastructure development to manufacturing to economic policies, the NPP has laid a strong foundation for job creation. The party has created over 2.3 million jobs, broken down into 100,000 teachers, 54,000 healthcare workers, 40,000 personnel in police, military, fire service, etc. 200,000 industrial jobs through One District, One Factory, One D, One F initiative. $1.5 million average sector jobs from Planting for Food and Jobs program. Won 50,000 service sector jobs through various government and private initiatives. Over 150,000 jobs through the Youth Employment Agency and 100,000 NABCO jobs. 100,000 SME jobs. In construction, 60,000 jobs through road, housing, and other infrastructure projects. 60,000 jobs in ICT and tech startups. 50,000 tourism sector jobs.
Thanks to the NPP, I was able to start my own business and create jobs in my community.
The free SHS policy opened doors for me, and now I am pursuing my dreams.
With initiatives in healthcare, job opportunities have surged, improving lives across the nation. The Agenda 111 is currently ongoing, and on completion will create 70,000 direct jobs and many more indirect jobs. TVET programs have equipped thousands with the skills needed for today's job market. The NPP's digitalization efforts have created a thriving tech ecosystem, paving the way for future innovation. In its 2024 manifesto, The NPP promises to create even more jobs and opportunities for the youth. These include free tertiary education for students with disabilities, student loan without a guarantor, expansion of TVET programs to reach every corner. The NPP promises to boost the digital economy with new tech hubs and innovation centers. And train 1 million young people in coding. Yes, 1 million more jobs.
Our work is far from over. I promise bold solutions to create even more jobs in healthcare, infrastructure, TVET, digitalization, agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, creative arts, and beyond.
The impact of these initiatives will be felt in every community, bringing prosperity and hope to all Ghanaians. Bawumia means jobs. Bawumia for jobs. Under Bawumia government, there will be opportunities for all our young people. Together, let's build a future where every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. On December 7th, remember, you are voting for the future of young people. Vote NPP, transforming lives, building a prosperous Ghana.
Everybody say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good evening. Is it working? Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Amir Deborah. I am an entertainment and lifestyle blogger. And my first question would be, when you were talking, you did mention some of the jobs you've created and what you're going to do.
Right.
But when I look at jobs and the youth, it's one thing having a job, and then it's one thing having a well-paying job. And on the flip side, people are complaining about salaries not being good enough. And across board, I don't think in the last 8 years we've seen something that was so significant to change the salary structure across board for people. So as we are looking at creating jobs, also what are you going to do if you come into office in terms of creating lucrative jobs for people? Because I don't want to arrive at the airport and see airport staff begging for money or complaining that they're not earning enough.
Yes, thank you very much. And I think that's a very good concern for all of us, because you want decent, well-paying jobs that can make ends meet. And so for us, you start by education and skills training, right? That the skills can get you the better jobs, because there are certain skills that are demanded, whether it's in the oil industry, fabricators and welders and so on, and they tell us we don't have enough of them. We have people looking for the jobs, but they may not have the skills. So how do we match the skill set with the labor market demand? It's a very, very, very important thing. And this is why, we have the Ghana Skills Development Fund. We've got a $40 million investment in that to build skills of Ghanaian workers. We are invested over the last 7 years, about $6 billion, 6 billion Ghana cedis in TVET, the skills. We've retooled 34 NVTIs with state-of-the-art equipment so that they can get the skills done. If you don't have the skill, they cannot get the well-paying jobs, both inside and outside the country. So I think the first thing is do the education and skills. Free SHS is helping. TVET will also help. But then you need the skills side. And then also you need to encourage the apprenticeships programs, because a lot of the time you may finish, you want to be a hairdresser or whatever, you need to go through the apprenticeship programs. And I think that is also something that we'll be doing. Then you look at investments in the digital space, for example, IT, where there's a lot of demand for skills. And so if we can train people to have those skills, they can have better jobs in those skills. So I believe that generally the skill set of people. And if you look at where we are trying to go, whether it's invest in the agri sector, whether it's in the digital sector, the housing sector, the infrastructure sector, you can have higher and better quality paying jobs in those sectors when you bring the skills to bear in those areas, even in agriculture.
So maybe Sheldon can...
Doc, my name is Bernard Kojamuafuba. In the media space, I am known as Kojo Sheldon.
Yeah, you are very famous.
Before I proceed to ask my question, I actually have a nickname for you. Maybe you have not heard it. I call you Bawizi. So,
right. Thank you.
Yes, Bawizi. So for those who don't know,
Sheldon.
But my question is, I run a youth-driven platform. I engage a lot of youth in my line of work, and most of the times when you speak to them or you go to the grounds and you're having conversations with them, and you make mention, oh, the government has created 2.6 million jobs, and they go like, it is not reflecting. We do not have jobs. And that is like general atmosphere amongst most of the youth out there. Either they have been employed and they are being paid paltry sums of money, their salaries are not being paid on time, or they have not been paid at all. So just standing here and telling us that you have created 2.6 million or 2.3 million jobs is not enough for us. We want to see the tangibles. We want to be employable. We don't want to be employment statistics at the end of the day. So I want to know what your government is going to do to expand the various sectors of production so that we can absorb all these people into the system and they get paid well. On the other side of things too, there is this video that was posted by Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, where in the video it was asserted that you have trained 1 million youth in coding. I want to understand. I know training and actual employment be two different things. When you train someone and the person doesn't have a job, it doesn't qualify to be called employment. So these people that you want to train, we will train. Is there a job market for them to be absorbing so that it wouldn't just be training? Because when you train and there is no job, then there's no point. Also,
thank you.
Doc, maybe Doc. So Doc, I am a young entrepreneur. I started new media after school, after not getting job anywhere. Now I have made it. I have put in the effort to bring in national service people to work with me, right? And every year we take in about 2-3 national service people. I'm a private company. I'm not a government company. Now I'm supposed to pay these, national service people a certain amount of money, which is more than what the government is paying. And after that, I am supposed to pay money to the government through the National, Service Secretariat. For a private startup company like mine, that is not funded by anyone, and I'm paying all these amount of money to the government. What are, the benefits, the opportunities for me in your government, so that I can create a fertile grounds to absorb in a lot more people, so that I can work with them and create employment for them?
Thank you very much, Kojo. I think there are about 3 questions, if I recall. You made the right point to start with. That says that we've created 2.6 million jobs. But for the people you talk to, they are not seeing it reflecting. And that's exactly the point I made. That in fact, even though we've created 2.6 million jobs, it's not sufficient. The demand for employment is very high, but you can just imagine that if you had not created this 2.6 million, the demand would have even been higher, right? So the fact is that it's true. We haven't done enough in that sense that you want to do more. And this is why I believe if you look at the program I'm putting forward, it's very, very key. The business side, you look at the tax reforms that we are proposing that will help stimulate the private sector. I'm talking about people who have issues with tax liabilities and are not able to hire people But if you gave them an amnesty, all of a sudden there's a significant capital injection of sorts, so that they are able now to hire people and restart their businesses. But if they have to use their capital to pay GRA, all these tax liabilities, you have a big problem. So you look at those reforms, the move to the flat tax system, making our tax system very transparent. A lot of businesses, and I've talked to many, have so many challenges with the tax system. I believe that the Buy Ghana First policy, which I'm going to back up with law, is also a major avenue for job creation. Because at the moment, the default setting, given our Public Procurement Act, practically tends to go to import whatever you need to buy as government, because the local firms are not able to be price competitive. So the foreign firms win the bids almost all the time. So I want us to factor in the cost of unemployment in the bidding processes, to say, look, if you give it to the foreign firms, you are creating unemployment. So how do we bring the jobs to our people? Bring a law, and then at least you have to buy Ghana first, and then we get more jobs to our people. So I think that is. Then you look at the whole issue of the cost of power. Power is very expensive for our businesses, and I want us to move towards solar and bring in 2,000 megawatts of solar power and reduce that. Then I want to bring in the credit scoring system. You know, the demand for goods and for so many services is much lower if you don't have access to credit in your economy, right? But if you have access to credit, you look at the US, consumer demand drives GDP, over 60% of GDP, because people have access to credit and they can buy goods. And that when people buy goods, it means you need to employ people to manufacture those goods. So there is a direct link between the credit system and jobs. So I believe that when we open up the credit scoring system, we open up the job market for our people, and you'll be able to create more jobs. Because you look at the mortgage market, as I was saying, the mortgage market in the US is 12 trillion. It's almost 600,000 times our mortgage market. Now, no modern country, and I don't know of any, I've looked at it, has developed without a mortgage market. Because the value of your land is dead if you don't have a mortgage market. In the advanced countries, they unleash the capital out of the land. In economics, you say land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. In Ghana, land is out, but that's our most valuable asset. So if you don't digitalize and get the land titling right, so that banks can be confident that when they lend on the basis of a particular land, that it actually does belong to you, right? So if we don't solve that problem of ownership of land, people will have to use land guards, and then they finish, they don't have title. Most businesses are started by mortgaging their properties. Most businesses out there. But here, the room to do that is foreclosed. It's completely foreclosed. So I want us to go back and tackle the fundamental problem. Deal with the issue of land titling and complete that process to allow. Then you can have a housing market develop. The housing market is the most important market in any economy. If the housing market goes down, the economy collapses, right? So if we don't tackle the housing market issue of mortgages, the land titling issue, we have a lot of dead capital stuck in the ground. A lot of people have houses. They live in them for 30 years, but they don't have title to the house. They don't have title. They could have mortgaged this house and gotten capital to start a business, but they don't have title, so they will not proceed. It will just be dead capital. When they die, The children will live there. They cannot do anything with it. Even selling it becomes a problem. So if we don't develop our housing market, we're not going to develop. So these are some of the things I believe that we need to do. I mean, you raised another point about skills, like people are trained 1 million, and all of that. That is very, very important point. But where do you start in building digital talent? As a country, we have from the ground zero. We want to enter the digital age. You cannot without digital talent. Otherwise, you'll be importing it all the time. So you need to grow your digital talent. So you have to bring in skills. And the only way you can begin to grow your digital talent is to train your people. And if you are training 1 million people, maybe not all the million will get jobs in Ghana. But you can sit in Ghana and do a lot of business process outsourcing abroad. You can work in the UK, US, right from here. It doesn't have to be a job in Ghana. But if you don't have those skills, you don't have the opportunities for you won't be able to start. So for every country, and I've told other countries, colleagues in other countries that look, Africa should build its digital talent. Otherwise, we will continue to import. I have made sure right from the beginning that all our digitalization projects are done by local talent. All of them. And it has been a matter of policy that we grow the talent here, we make our mistakes here, we learn, and then the next time we'll do better. So if you look at everything we have done, virtually everything, it has been by local talent. Even the drones that we brought in, all the drone centers are 100% manned by Ghanaians. Not a single foreigner. We insisted on it. 100%. All the drone centers are being manned by Ghanaians. Not a single foreigner is doing that. Because otherwise we will just be bringing people in to make money and then we don't get the skills. But today, people are coming to hire Ghanaians. Recently, someone was taken to San Francisco to train drone flight operators because we have the most experience. We are the world's largest drone delivery service. So I think that, yes, you have to start from somewhere. You have to build the talent, and then you can otherwise, but then you don't have any ticket for entry into the game. You'll be stuck out and others will come and do it for you. So I want to give Ghana a chance to grow our industry. Yeah.
Maybe Nessa?
Your Excellency, my name is Vanessa Abose, popularly known as Nessa.
Okay.
You've been talking about digitalization a lot, and I want to focus on the infrastructure aspect. Now, when I look at the infrastructure aspect, I see 3 components. 1, high speed when it comes to internet. Number 2, data centers. And number 3, uninterrupted power supply. Now, when we break it down, this brings me to the questions. Your Excellence, we are still experiencing doomsday. So, if we are still experiencing doomsday, what are you putting in place to make sure that we have reliable power supply so that digitalization will be optimized? B, which is data centers. Data centers will create more jobs for people in the tech areas. What are you putting in place for these people? And last but not the least, when it comes to the internet, we do not have reliable internet for digitalization. Then it brings me to the cost of data. Data is so expensive. The youth are trying so hard to become CEOs. We are posting on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and so forth. But the data is so much. What are you going to do about that? My third question. You spoke about industrialization. And I would like to read what I saw about industrialization. Industrialization is the process of transforming the economy of a nation or region from a focus on agriculture to a reliance on manufacturing. I would like to focus on the agriculture aspect because you said you would like to encourage us to purchase more of Ghanaian-made produce, right? Mr. President, Your Excellency, Dr. Bawumia, Ghanaians are scared about their health when it has to do with the water situation. So, what do you have to say about that so that we Ghanaians can feel safe to purchase our own goods being produced in Ghana so that we don't get affected, especially with the Galamsey water issue? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Vanessa, for those questions, and they're very, very important. I think that you've raised pertinent issues that go to the heart of a functioning digital economy. And I think that if you look at the power challenges that we've had recently, from my understanding, there's been issues with gas supplies, and that has resulted. But I'm told that this situation is about to be resolved, and the problem is being fixed. So we will get more reliable power. I think that is the issue. Data centers, I think that that is key. That is very, very key. As you know, we have gotten a data center around Apollonia City right now, which is one of the largest that we have in the country. I went to launch it recently because it's very, very important. And we have also said in my manifesto that we've got to build more data centers to do that. So I don't argue with you in that sense. One of the things that what we have prioritized also is fiber optic cable over the last 7 years. Today, I can tell you that 93% of all the NCA licensed fiber optic cable in Ghana was put in place in the last 8 years. 93% was put in place in the last 8 years. That is key for infrastructure. Just a couple of days ago, we launched 5G, which is going to seriously increase the speed. You're talking about, at least 100 times faster than 4G, maybe 1,000 times, and then 100 times more capacity than 4G. So I think that coming in with 4G, you're going to see major increase in speeds. With 5G, major increase in speeds. In terms of internet penetration, as you have rightly pointed out, one of the barriers for us is cost of data. For all of us, for all the youth that I speak to. And I'm increasingly, I've made the point before, that we should, in this world of digital, access to the internet is almost seriously very much at par to access to things like electricity. Very, very key. So we need to bring down the cost of data. And if you heard what I spoke about, I said that the allocation of spectrum license, historically we have allocated spectrum on the basis of raising revenue for government. And so when the telcos buy the spectrum on the basis of raising revenue, so they pay, we do a bidding round. So we look for the highest bidder. So we get the revenue. So they have to recover their costs. So the cost of data will go up. So I'm saying, don't allocate spectrum on the basis of revenue, because you have a digital inclusion agenda. So you should allocate the spectrum on the basis of digital inclusion. and negotiate with the companies to say, we will give you the spectrum, but you have to lower the cost of data. And we can have a negotiation along those lines to bring down the cost of data. But if you want to charge high for the spectrum, they will also charge high for the data. And so I believe that government should take financial inclusion, and this is what I have in the manifesto, should take digital inclusion as a high priority and not be too focused on raising revenue from spectrum. We should use spectrum to get inclusion, and that is, say, you have to spread your services to these areas at this cost. They are willing to do that. So this is one of the things I want to do with the area of bringing down. And I also want to eliminate the duties on mobile phones, so that we can bring down the cost of the phones and make them more accessible. I would like, where we are going, I would like to make sure almost everybody has a smartphone. That's basically what it should be, because as you put all these services out there, if people cannot access them, then you don't get the benefit globally. So I think that is where we want to go. I think that you made also a point about industrialization and how we move from agric to manufacturing and the cost of water. I think that this is part of, if you look at the 1D, 1F policy that we brought in, one of the things that was clear is that over almost 70% of 1D, 1Fs were for agricultural processing companies. Almost 70%. We've set up about 169 factories under 1D, 1F, which are operational. But almost 70% of them are agric processing. But it makes sense that they be so, because if you have agric processing, then there's a demand for the produce from the farmers, right? So when I went to the Bono areas, for example, they were talking about the need for cashew factories, because if there is no demand, then the cashew prices are depressed, So once the factories are there to demand those agricultural produce, then you will see better prices for the farmers and so on. So I think that is something that I would like to see more of. Most countries have industrialized through the agro-processing side before you go to the other segments like the cars and so on. The water situation is also very, very critical, and we need to make sure that we control, and this is why I think that the issues about mining in the water bodies through these galamsey activities is just a no for our country, and we have to do everything to stop it, because the cost for us, disease and everything, is so high. And this is why we really need to regulate the small scale mining sector and direct them to areas where gold can be found, because most of them think that the gold can be found in the water bodies, but you can get into community mining schemes where the Geological Survey Authority has already identified that there is gold here. So you go there, we give you these mercury-free machines and all of that. So you don't have to go to the water bodies, and it's regulated. And I think that is very, very important that we focus there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, we'll take some quick questions from the Ashanti region. Ashanti region, if you can hear us, please ask us just 2 questions, and then we can begin to wrap up. Ashanti region. Ashanti region. Is that the Ashanti auditorium? Yes, that's Ashanti region. Please go ahead with your question. Go ahead with your question.
Hello. Good evening. Yes, please, my name is.
Hello.
Please, my name is.
Vice President. Hello, Mr. Vice President. which we all call you the economic wizard. I would want you to help me with something here, some economics here. With the SMEs you are planning of empowering, I would want to ask, after our produce and whatever we've done and with our supply, we would want to know how and the steps you've taken to help with the demand, which is the household, to actually hold whatever we are doing. What steps are you going to take in your government to actually bridge that gap for this household to patronize whatever we are doing, not to cause loss and again surplus of whatever we produce? So in Kumasi, as we know, we are into trading. So we want to know, how are you going to help us, someone like me in the eatery industry, which I own a restaurant, Let's Eat Good. I would want to know how you are going to help us do that. Please explain with your economics lecturing. Thank you.
Second question, please.
I've been Arthur and an upcoming entrepreneur, so I'll really tackle on the SMEs. I heard of investment credit tax concerning your tax modification and an initiative. So I would love you to throw more light on that, because I'm in Ashanti region, so I'll talk for Ashanti region. And for Ashantis, we are known for doing business so as a young female entrepreneur, what are some of the incentives that you may bring on board to help boost and then bring growth to my business as a youth? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, if you can take these questions, please.
Thank you very much. I think that the first question was how we bridge demand and supply. If we give the businesses incentives to produce, where is the demand coming from to buy? I think that is an old age question. But I think that one of the first things that we need to do is to first create the capacity to demand. One of the things that I've been pushing for, and thankfully is coming into being, is to make sure we build a credit system in Ghana. Because a lot of consumer demand in many of the advanced countries is driven by credit, right? So if you are in a nation with no or little access to credit, you will be producing at a low level equilibrium. But if there is access to credit, then there's demand for your goods, and people will buy the latest phone, the latest TV, the latest consumable. So for traders, I think generally we want to see that that can be driven by credit availability. This is why the credit score system
webcast, religious broadcast, sports shows, and auditions.
A credit scoring system that allows people, and as I said, I see digital lending coming up very, very soon. You're already seeing it. Phone companies are giving people loans and so on. And so you're going to see with credit scoring a lot more credit being given to people who can then come to your shops and buy, or even stay at home and order from your shops, because they have the credit, they can pay for it and all of that. So I think that has been one of the major things that we are going to do to expand demand in this country. Secondly, is just job creation. The more jobs you have, the more incomes there are, and then you have more purchases from businesses. And I think if we can get in, for example, tourists coming into Ghana, as we are enhancing our tourism industry, creative arts industry, the visits, the e-visas that we are providing, the free visas to Caribbean and African countries, to make Ghana
The NPP has demonstrated that they cannot do the job. Fortunately, the NDC is not a viable alternative. Put your faith and trust in the Alliance for Revolutionary Change, Movement for Change.
I am a movement. I am one man institution with a dome.
This year I will vote Angasa. Even if they give me all the watching in Ghana, I no go miss some.
See, this time Kokomuti power. I go vote Angasa.
Oh yeah,
I will for shine one eye because I hear saying they feel massage the result for the ACL contest there. Yeah, so then they do they massage the thing like it be spa. This year we for open one eye for shine now.
See, my big already. I open her. Them they lie.
Hey, my people.
Wait, are you just passing through or you are here because of me?
Actually, you are just passing, but
wait. I'm sure you are still discussing election issues. Hey, these my people. Okay, what be the gist?
Anyway, we were just passing, but it's good we've met you because we heard the Electoral Commission can change the numbers at their head office and make our votes useless. How true is that?
Look, let me put you at ease. Listen, even if we appoint your party's candidate and your chairman and your general secretary as the chairman and deputies of the Electoral Commission, they still will not be able to steal the election for any particular reason. Yeah, sure. I'm telling you, my brother, listen, the elections are won or lost at the polling station, not at the Electoral Commission head office. Okay. And remember, all the political party agents are there. Everybody is watching and observing critically. And it's not just them. It is also international observers, and even the media is also there.
That reminds me, ask about the ballot boxes. How do you know they are secure?
Look, as for ballot boxes, we treat it as though they are carrying pure gold. Yes, I'm telling you the truth. First of all, the Electoral Commission seals the ballot boxes with seals from the EC. Then all the political parties, if they want to, they can also seal the ballot box with their seals as well. Okay. Do you understand? And remember that before the voting starts, an empty, transparent ballot box is shown for everyone to see. Exactly.
How about the counting process? How do we know that one to be fair?
Good. Listen, the counting is where the real action is. First of all, the counting officer wears white gloves and then raises their hands for everyone to see that they are wearing it. 2, they then break the seals one after the other. The seals of the Electoral Commission and the seals of the political parties if they decided to add it. You understand so far? Good. Then the counting is done in front of everybody. The political parties are there, the observers are there, the media is there, everybody is watching the counting feely.
So how are the results recorded?
Good. So when the ballots are counted, the results go on a carbonized pink sheet. Very, very important. The results are signed by each of the political party representatives at the polling station. Then the presiding officer declares the results. A copy of the results is posted right there at the polling station. Another copy is given to each of the political party representatives. That's not the end. In fact, if anybody is not satisfied, they can call for a recount right there at the polling station. Even when we go to the constituency collation center, you can still request for a second recount. Yes!
This process be serious.
I'm telling you, my brother. Look, there is serious consideration in this. Almost 40,000 polling stations across the country, and all the political parties are collating the results from the signed pink sheets from each polling station across the country. So at the end of the day, whoever wins the most votes from the collated pink sheets wins the respective race. Look, as for the elections, it is clear and transparent.
Then this one, if a party fails to properly check the pink sheets, no.
Then you
don't blame anybody for that.
So go out there confidently on the 7th of December and cast your vote. Your vote is your voice, and the Electoral Commission will ensure that everyone's voice is heard loud and clear. My people.
Exactly. Look, the way the security services, the party agents, election observers, and even the media make wild they watch the election inside. Nobody go fit steal this election inside. The EC they ensure say the voting process it be free, it be fair, where it be transparent on top. So make confident, then go and cast your vote on election day. But remember, elections are won and lost at the polling station, not at the EC head office. 2024 election process not a finchim, it be clean, no kululu.
Abusafo, Madam Hisense in you. They may woman there. A check croy. Every 28th October, I come 8th November. A Hisense Bridge promo. So we heavy. Ghana had here. About the fridge. Hisense and Kwan the one who do about 35. Hisense here never free factory and about hot direct. A papa, a chair, a fair, and changing them cania. A one so a cool Hisense and Kwan and out of fridge. You about 5 years manufacturer defective warranty. Say a 5-bedroom house, and now small apartment, school, office, restaurants, and a cold store. Hisense for fridge. To say, I'm a review. If it is 28th October, I come in 8th November. No Hisense showroom beer. That's what Julian. Hisense. Everyday prices for everyday people.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Malaika Ghana. The glow up season is brought to you by Crab Shandy, Big Blue Resorts, The Pinnacle Apartments, Your Cruise People, Brussels Airlines, Triton Motors Limited, with support from Atlas Rent-A-Car, Tasty Tom, Verna Purified Water. Special thanks to Palms Convention Center, GHOne Creative Studio, Mr. Wu GH, Maud's Finest Boutique.
Ladies, come in. Wow, you all look very beautiful and ready for our dinner tonight. Are you wondering why we are here? Okay, so I had to bring you to Maud's Finest because you know our fashion episode is happening this week. It's in 3 rounds, and for one of the rounds, you have to shop for a girl's night out look. And you know how it goes sometimes, right? You do dinner, sometimes you end up in the club. And so I just want you to have an idea of what the look is supposed to be like, okay? You have 30 seconds to shop for the look. So we're going to do this in 2 batches. So the first set of 6 ladies will go in and do their shopping. You have 30 seconds to finish, and then we move on to the next batch to also do their shopping, okay? Okay. Ladies, how many seconds do you have?
30 seconds.
Great, love that. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, so can we have the first 6 ladies to my right? So on my count in 3, 2, 1, shop! Let's go! You have 30 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop shopping. Does everyone have an outfit? Can we show it to the camera? Okay. All right, second batch. Are we ready? Yes. Okay then. So you saw what the first batch did, right? You have 30 seconds to shop your look. Are we ready? Yes. On my count in 3, 2, 1. Let's shop! Shop! Let's go! Get it! Okay, ladies, start wrapping up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop shopping. Your time is up. All right, ladies, do we all have something? I want to be very sure we all picked something. Yes. And it's going to fit you just fine. Yeah. Okay, then. So take note of the outfits that they've picked, because this is what they are going to be wearing for one of the rounds for our fashion episode. I hope it fits. I really hope it does. And I wish you all the best with it. Thank you. Okay then, are we ready to have dinner? Yeah. All right, let's bag it and then head straight to the location. Okay.